Okay, I'm actually gonna play this. Hey. So long crime actually.
Yeah, man.
Who is this? Is this Juvy or Sax? I don't know who this.
Young Juvy.
Okay, this is Juvy.
Get it right. Yeah.
That's Christopher Thomas, known as YNW Juvy. The man accused of murdering him, YNW Melly, is on trial accused of killing another man too. Juvy's dad is here with his story. I'm Anjanette Levy and welcome to Law and Crime's Sidebar Podcast. Testimony is underway in the trial of Jamel Demons, known by his stage name YNW Melly. Melly is accused of murdering two members of his group, Chris Thomas, who went by YNW Juvy, and Anthony Williams, who was known as YNW Sack Chaser. The men were shot to death in an SUV after leaving a late-night recording session on October 26, 2018, with Melly and another group member, Cortland Henry, who went by YNW Bortland. Bortland was driving the SUV. Later that morning, Bortland showed up at the hospital. Juvy and Sack Chaser were dead in the car. Melly was not with them. Chris, first of all, I know this has been a difficult almost 5 years now. How are you doing right now with this trial finally starting?
So again, this is like YNW Juvy's dad. I don't know. It's kind of like difficult, kind of like analyzing this, because now it becomes he said, she said, and I would imagine, let's say Melly is innocent. Bro, he probably cared for his friends who died, but their families are kind of blaming him. So, like, how do you play that? Like, could you be like, oh, I'm so sorry he died, but shit, yo, y'all wilding, like, y'all are trying to put me in jail. Anyway, this is the father of Juvy. Here we go.
It's kind of overwhelming at times, but doing the best I can at the moment.
A lot of people may not know a lot about your son. What do you want people to know about him? We know he was, an aspiring rapper. He was part of this YNW group.
Chris was a good kid. He's the second of my oldest boys. He's the oldest of his mom's kids, and he loved his whole family. He loved all his friends, and he just got caught up for being too loyal and got betrayed by one of his so-called friends. It's a sad situation for everybody.
Tell me.
Hey, by the way, Gemini Bell, thank you for the donation on YouTube. You said, love you, act from one of the older chat queens. And he said, not that old. Been rocking with you since the Chirac days. I should be a mod. By the way, I just made you mod. We always need chat queens as mod. We got to balance it out a little bit. He says, also, I'm a mother of two black sons. So free whoever who didn't do it. Okay? I gave you mod. By the way, we have a new mod in the YouTube chat. So y'all make sure, tell me if she's tweaking. But I did give her mod. All right, let's keep it going. So this is Juvy's father, and I'm sorry for interrupting.
Tell me a little bit about that, because, it's my understanding that Juvy was friends with Melly and Sack Chaser for quite some time. Tell me, when did you first come to know Melly?
I met Melly around like 99, like a couple years before Chris met him. I was friends with his Melly's mom, best friend at the time, and that's how I got to know Melly. Then Chris got to know him after that. They was all good kids coming up, just laughing, playing, joking with each other, having fun, like to hang out with each other, and he loved them boys, and he loved them to a fault.
So he was friends with them since they were little kids then, it sounds like.
Yes, man. They went to elementary, middle school, high school, all together. That's I know his mom as well, and his stepdad and the rest of his family, Melly's family. And the music started, I think, around 2000, maybe 13.
And they were just all making the music together?
Yes. Started from rapping at school until making music together and coming up with the name, the YNW, and it just went from there. And Sack and Chris and Melly and even Jay Green was all founder members of the YNW. Melly was just the face of it. I say now that Chris and Anthony is gone, now he just took everything over.
It sounds like your son and the other guys had a lot of really big dreams.
Yes, ma'am, they did. They love music. They love to perform, and they was on their way like to do big things, and it just got cut short. This tragedy. Everybody that's around still trying to pick up the pieces. Like a lot of families got broken with this situation.
Melly is saying that he is innocent. His defense attorneys are saying the state can't prove its case. But it's my understanding you believed from the very beginning that Melly was responsible for your son's death and the death of Anthony.
From the day one, I believe that Melly was responsible for my son's death on October 26th when I first heard the story, because his explanation when I finally talked to him in Cortland on a FaceTime, their response and how they was reacting, they showed no remorse. They didn't act like they was grieving, like they lost a best friend or nothing. They was, in my opinion, they was in the best spirits. They never came to town, never came to my son's funeral, never came to Sack funeral. And these are your best friends. He passed straight through the county of Indian River, went to Brevard.
I thought Melly did go to the funeral. Hold on. YNW Melly funeral. I thought he did go to a funeral. Wait, let me just go to YouTube and find it. I thought he did go to a funeral though. YNW Melly funeral. I remember a video of him being in the back of a car. And some people thought like he was just like, just too happy in a sense, right? Like, let me see. I thought he went to a funeral. It was like way back. Look, oh, here we go. YNW Melly.
On the way to the damn funeral. You know how that shit go.
You know how that shit go, man.
You know how that shit go, man.
You know, slack. Let me see them glasses, big bro.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying.
I had to call you big bro today. This day your day.
Hey, my motherfucking slide, nigga.
Hey, them glasses hard as fuck.
Appreciate that. I just caught these
gotta
bitches
take
too.
you when you come to LA. I gotta take you to the Chanel store and get you these Chanel glasses. Crazy.
Hell yeah. I'm gonna be out there. I'm gonna be out there next week. No cap.
I'm gonna be on damn tour. So I'm gonna find you out the spot dates if you trying to come open up.
Yeah, what?
I thought he went to the funeral then, right?
Hard and did a music video, but he couldn't even stop and pay his condolences to his best friend's mom. He even got Jana tatted on his neck. That's why his defense attorney got him wearing turtlenecks and shirts to hide his neck, because he got the Jana tatted on his neck. That's Sack mom's name, and he got Chris' name and Sack name. And this guy, that guy is just, I have no words for that guy.
What was it in particular that was said on that FaceTime that made you think that Melly was responsible?
Nothing was said. Actually, it was like the demeanor. It was like the body language, really. Like I was just reading them, and as I'm telling them and asking them questions, I got so emotional I started crying. They wasn't reacting to. They acted like they didn't have to take a loss at all. That's how I took it. And then when I was talking to them, I still had in the back of my mind that something's not right. Something's not right.
Did they tell you anything about what they claimed happened with the drive-by they claim happened?
No, they had absolutely no explanation. Like we had to figure it out just like the police.
Chris, why do you think that this happened? Why do you think, Melly did this? Because, Melly is on trial. The state has to prove it beyond a reasonable doubt that he committed these crimes. But why do you think this happened?
I think the story about the $200,000 with Anthony was a true story because it's not reported, but Chris told me the same story, and also it was a $500,000 play, and Melly was going to get $200,000, Sack was going to get $200,000, Chris was going to get $100,000, and as I'm hearing it from Chris, they was going to sell the YNW brand, not a record deal or nothing like that. It was like for the the brand itself. And by them being founding members, they was going to get a piece of the pie. So I don't think Melly did it on his own. I think that manager guy got in his ear and did a little divide and conquer. Because if it was up to Sack, it would never be 100K management.
They were going to sell the YNW name for licensing or to sell products. What do you mean they were going to sell the name?
For marketing, licensing, stuff like that. I think they want to go up on the bigger umbrella just to push them, I think. Push the brand more global. That's what I'm thinking.
And so you think that Melly wanted a bigger cut of that then?
I think Melly didn't want to give them guys nothing. He wanted to be the only one to shine. And then they came to town next day and gave the mothers 15,000, the other mother 10,000. So I thought to myself, if Sack was going to get 200,000, Chris was getting 100,000. If we could pay these people 25,000, keep 275,000, that's how I saw it. It just nothing added up. And Melly still to this day for me to hear him call them boys his best friend is an insult. That is an insult.
Now, I can't say everything, but from what I'm hearing, which I'm trying to be fair, I'm trying to be as fair as possible. Y'all all know I love Melly's music, but I'm trying to be fair. There's lives lost, and that's super serious. From what I hear, and by the way, my message to Juvy's dad, brother, I empathize with your pain and your hurt. I can't even imagine being remotely near a situation like this where, ultimately you're looking at your son's friends to possibly be the culprits. Not some niggas y'all didn't know, not some random people they had beef with. That gotta fuck you up, and I completely empathize with you. There is another side of this that says, hey, listen, well, you got to have sympathy for the father, clearly, because he lost a son. But the reason why the father is having these thoughts to blame Melly is because the prosecutors who would, obviously when they solve a crime, they're going to talk to the family. Hey, we think this is a person who do it. We're going to file charges. They believe that the prosecutor has maybe planted that seed to say, hey, fuck what you heard that there was a drive-by. There ain't no drive-by, and we can't find them dudes. The person who killed your son is his friend. So planting that seed is why Juvy's father may be so opposed and so angry and, so much insane. Probably thinking of little things to say, damn, you did look unremorseful. Again, I don't know. But I'm just telling you where there's a other side that says that, okay? I'm being as fair as possible. Now, granted, that's sometimes it's two or three. It's really three sides to the story: his side, and then the truth. So maybe Juvy's dad is like, yo, that's an insult. Fuck that. Nah, it's not the prosecutors who sent me off on a dummy mission. I really believe this guy killed my son. And if that's the case, again, I don't want to devalue anyone's opinion because I'm not the person who lost someone here, right? But I'm just giving you a little clue. There are people who they would never disrespect him, but they believe that the reason why he's speaking up and speaking out against Melly is because of the prosecutor coming to him to say, we have the killer of your son and we believe it's Melly. And obviously it just makes sense. You're going to hate whoever killed or whoever was said to kill your son. Anyway, let's keep playing.
Was there any sign of bad blood before your son's life was taken and before Anthony was killed? Or was there any tension there that you knew of?
Not with Juvy, not with Chris, but you heard things about him and Anthony getting into altercations about disputes about money over certain situations, and they got in a fight prior to that, and they said the story that they say Sack beat him up and knocked his goals out in front of his girlfriend, and 2 days later, I think that's when the incident happened.
Chris, I know that something that has to be really hard about this is the fact that there are relatives here, relatives of Cortland Henry, who are also relatives of the victims.
Yes. Chris and Cortland share a sister, and she's my daughter. Her and Chris had the same dad, which is me, and her and Cortland share the same mom. And she took the side of Melly. She still to this day screams Free Melly all on her Facebook, Instagram. She'll go live with the Free Melly shirts, and they just got her brainwashed with the money. They just showering her with gifts and Cortland and got my daughter just brainwashed to the fact that she wishing the killer of her brother was free. And I just
Wait, they're saying that the sister of the deceased feels differently. By the way, liquor went down the wrong pipe. That's what my ear. Eyes tearing up and shit. Okay, somebody sent me this on DM. They says Juvy's father before was singing a different tune. So let me pause.
The repast when he was buried after you leave the funeral and go over there to that. Who paid for that shit over there to the community center and give all that money, paid all that? His daddy. Only thing when we got into the church was the funeral that
they're talking about the funeral of Juvy. This is the same father that's in that's in this so this father right here, this is him, but I think this is a year ago. You can see it a year ago. And they're saying his tune about Melly changed. So they're saying a year ago, listen to what he says about Melly. Here we go.
at the church itself, the service was $5,600. We owe $2,800 a piece. So when they called me that morning, Shell talking that shit, talking if I ain't gonna do it, she'll get Melly to pay for it. The nigga track talking about something, Shell wanted $1,000 for a headstone. He finna send her headstone, but Melly mama come with $3,000. He sending $2,000 for me just for walking around money. I said, I don't need shit. Oh, we know. We just walk around money. I said, okay, but get that shit to Shell until I bring $800. She called me and snapped. Oh, nigga, you ain't got the money to pay for it. Just I get Melly to pay for it. Pussy hoe, what? Matter of fact, I'm finna go get my motherfucking money that I already got. They already had my money. Boom, I went and got my motherfucking $2,800. You feel what I'm saying? And that's the only thing I didn't pay for. I went and snatched my shit. And the lady, oh, we'll set up something for you in the beginning or after how you want to do it. And I said, I walked in the funeral. That's why another reason why I didn't stay there, because I didn't pay my $2,800. And I'm like, fuck you, let Melly pay for it. She let Melly dress him and everything, man.
Damn.
Man, I'm in the living room looking at TV. All the niggas in the back room, older niggas she fucked with that she called her brothers. They uncle. They
So YNW Melly dressed YNW Juvy for his funeral. Yo, I ain't gonna lie, dude. This shit is like ridiculous. So the father admits, well, clearly, I guess this was a year ago. He's arguing about who paid for what, blah, blah. But he admits YNW Melly dressed YNW Juvy.
dress him and everything, man.
Here we go.
I just stayed there because I didn't pay my $2,800. And I'm like, fuck you, let Melly pay for it. She let Melly dress him and everything, man.
Damn.
Man, I'm in the living room looking at TV. All the niggas in the back room, older niggas she fucked with that she called her brothers. They uncle. They fake uncle though. None of them is her brother. So the nigga telling Lil Bond them, hey man, go tell the nigga Spoon, man. Hope he don't feel no type of way. We asking her, why the fuck she asking us? Why don't you go ask his daddy? Like, what should she wear? What shirt should he buy? This, that, and all, you feel what I'm saying? I was right there, Mike. I soaked all that shit up. I took that shit in stride.
Spoon. So you mean the man that allegedly murdered them, your son, dressed him for his funeral? Get them.
They say you're gonna wear such no polo nigga son Gucci polos type shirt, man. White with the golf clubs on it, Gucci with the red, white with the signs on it with a red collar, short sleeve shirt with some black pants. And they know you gotta have a long sleeve shirt. I said, y'all the stupidest bitches in the world. Then I said, on top of that, why the fuck y'all dressing Chris in Gucci when he never ever wore a Gucci shirt in his life?
I'm surprised they did the short sleeve shirt. Where was he shot? I'm guessing Damn, I don't even want to look this type of stuff up, but maybe he was the one shot in the head. Wow, yo, this shit is like a little odd, bro. This shit fucks me up, bro. I hate funerals.
Then she had to go to men's rag, get a black blazer to put over the shirt and get her some gloves and this, that, and another. The casket was white. They had the little music note. We designed the casket and shit together. I saw right there. I came by myself. It was her. She bought 4 hoes with her, man. I sat there disgusted. My sister's calling me. I won't even answer the phone. I look at her phone. Nigga, she fucking calling her phone. She walked out to answer the phone. I'm sitting there disgusted. I didn't even speak the whole time. Saying I just hate these motherfuckers, man. I ain't saying hate, I just despise them. They so fucking poor and ratchet that I just can't stand them. And what fucked me up, what pissed me off was she like, oh, Miss Horton, I work so hard, the more money I make, look how much I gotta spend. Mike, that bitch ain't spending no money. They just say, Chris, sell whatever shirt. They had full shirts going 30. At 10, 15, like, whatever shirt you sell, you keep that money. What the money for this shirt? Man, I was out to eat, the motherfucker called me and said I had a bitch money for a shirt that was like $10 or something. I said, you bitches serious? I said, you poor motherfuckers. Matter of fact, LeBron was down the road. I said, cuz, go down the road and get them bitches 40. Tell them pussy ass, oh my God, I gave him extra, man. It was so motherfucker, oh my God.
So Track gave 7,500. No, Track gave 15,000. Melly gave 10.
Track gave Melly. Track bought Melly money. That is from Melly. The 15. He gave 10 to Sack Mama.
Sack Mama got 10. Melly sent 15 through Track.
Yeah.
And that went towards the funeral. But 7,500 was supposed to go to you, but you never received that because it was intercepted by 7,500 was supposed to go to you, but you never received that because it was intercepted by other parties. No, and you never knew about the 7,500 until later, correct?
Yeah, until he told me.
Right. So the 15,000, 7,500 of that was supposed to go to you. But
when I talked to my lawyers, they say, please tell me that you didn't take any money. I say, hell to the fuck no.
Right.
You feel me? Hell no. I paid for that shit out my motherfucking pocket.
Right.
You feel me? I had $5,000 in my pocket at the time without even going to the bank.
Right.
All that free Melly shit, they won't say that shit around here. No, man. Hell no. I seen nigga with free Melly shirt on, this, that, and other. I just look at him. They be his family though.
It's his
family. And then think about this. He getting paid for holding his tongue. Cause come on, man. They like, I said, where did they get money from? They're like, oh, he sells clothes. Listen, man, the nigga literally don't do shit. You feel me?
Yeah.
He dropped one song when he got out. Man, listen, man, he was not rapping when Christian was alive.
Portland.
No.
I seen the song. It's called what's the name of the song? It was a nice.
He got a lot of views.
It was a nice video. It was a nice video.
Yeah.
That's what I wanted to know. So is he signed under 100K management?
Yep.
And that happened after he got out.
Yep.
So that's sort of like a lookout for being 100.
Yep. Why Chris and Sack wasn't never signed?
Right. So Portland was the driver.
Yep.
I'm not saying the driver, the getaway driver. I'm saying like he just drove them around.
Yeah.
Right. He was the chauffeur.
God would keep blessing me.
Right.
Mike, I would have been gone. It takes less than that. Mike, if I to the day right now, we take it. If I told him, so you mean to tell me if I'm a big kingpin, I'm in Walt Boston, it's a kingpin and Gifford or Vero, and we going through it, rivals. I could have one of my little cousins call the police and the legs, all that shit. I be fucking with these people. Mike, what did you say? That they had an accident and he was behind in traffic. Mike, what did you say?
They say Melly paid for the funeral and went to the funeral. Is that true?
Hell fuck no. They got that clip on YouTube talking about on the way to the funeral.
Right.
That nigga never made the funeral.
Right. He was on the live with Trippie Redd, and they were saying he was going to the funeral.
That was false. He was not on his way to the funeral. He lied and said that they had an accident and he was behind in traffic on 95 going north. 95 north. And my baby mama came from Miami and made it to the funeral and said that he was alive.
Wow.
And the funeral was at 11 o'clock that morning. He said that he could make it. They pushed the funeral back to 2 o'clock and he still ain't make it.
Why do you think he didn't go to the funeral?
Guilty. Felt guilty probably. And then he probably felt, now I ain't gonna say he felt guilty, he probably felt unsafe. Because Chris' friends, they wanted his head. He's not liked amongst them.
And they run the crew. And they run Gifford.
Thank you. Thank you.
So if he get out, he can't even go back where he from and be safe.
He might can. He got money in the little crew.
Oh, so it is. Okay. How big is his family in Gifford?
Who?
Melly.
Not big.
When did they come around? Because it's hard for you not to be kin to a lot of people in Gifford and Waukesha.
They from Ohio, Cleveland somewhere, bro.
Oh.
That's why you see his daddy on Facebook, YNW Melly Dad. He dropped a song. He remixed "Murder on My Mind," and he telling how it happened when she left Ohio and how they never let him fuck.
God.
Who are also relatives of the victims.
Yes. Chris and Courtland share a sister, and she's my daughter. Her and Chris had the same dad, which is me, and her and Courtland share the same mom. And she took the side of Melly. She still to this day screams Free Melly all on her Facebook, Instagram. She'll go live with the Free Melly shirts, and they just got her brainwashed with the money. They just showering her with gifts and Courtland and got my daughter just brainwashed to the fact that she wishing the killer of her brother was free. And I just don't understand that. That's a heartbreaking feeling, man. For me to see that daily, her saying that, that's just heartbreaking.
Do you talk to your daughter about this?
We haven't talked. She was living with me up until the time shortly after the funerals, and then we went our separate ways. I haven't talked to her in over 2 years.
So it sounds like you've lost 2 children.
Yes, ma'am. And them the 2 that look like me the most, and it's crazy.
Are you hoping that this trial, maybe at the end, things can change with your daughter?
Yeah, once she see the truth and them boys get convicted, I'm hoping that her whole demeanor will change. But knowing them, they're going to be like, wait till the appeal. He's still innocent. Wait till the appeal. But just have to wait and see, man. It's going to be a process.
I know you watched a lot of the first day of the trial. How did you feel it was going so far? And have you watched today as well?
Yes, ma'am. I think it's going pretty good. It's just a long process. Just got to trust the process in my book. And I think she's doing a good job. I think once the ballistic, the forensics, the cell phone, and when it showed that Chris got shot on his left cheek and the back wrist, he got shot from this side of the car in his left cheek with stipling on his face and the burn marks on his face from the gun muzzle. All that's going to point in the one direction to that guy that was sitting in the back driver's passenger side. Back driver's side.
And the Christine Bradley, the prosecutor, had said yesterday.
By the way, I have to interject. So the nigga who got cooked, that's just ballistics. Let me tell you the real star witnesses in this case. The coroner, the medical examiner, is going to be the person who is going to say these things. These guys died at this time, not this time. So, according to the prosecutor, the medical examiner is going to say, no, By the time they got to the hospital, they were dead for 2 hours already. The medical examiner is going to say that. Or that's what you have to expect them to say. So the medical examiner is a star witness. The medical examiner is also going to say this. If this whole thing is true, according to the prosecutor. Yo, he was already dead when he got shot with another bullet from outside the car. So he was dead from bullets inside the car. And the bullet that killed him came from, so he's sitting in the car. So this is the car, right? This is the car right here. The bullet that killed him came from here and hit him. If it came from here, it would be his window. It didn't come from here. It hit him from here. So how come nobody on this side of the car got hit, but he gets hit with the first bullet from here? So the medical examiner, and I seen a couple people, they hit me like, yo, Melly gonna beat the case because like this one guy's a fucking idiot. Literally, this guy, he's an idiot. Like this guy, I ain't gonna lie to you. This was a big win for Melly having this guy on there. But whoever the medical examiner is, the person who performed that autopsy, the person who has scientifically broke down not only how the person died, when they died, what are post-mortem wounds, what are the wounds that killed him, was he in a defensive position, why there's burn marks on his face, that's going to be the star witness. Mark my fucking words. Okay? That person is coming. Now, if the defense attorney spins that nigga, Melly beating this case. I believe. 100%. But you gotta spin that nigga. This dumbass nigga right here, he ain't know nothing about nothing. He shouldn't even be in a courtroom. This nigga was stupid. Okay? So, Melly's lawyers, I think they scored a small victory, but they got a couple more to go. Because when they're talking about stifling and burn marks, why would there be a burn mark on, let's say this, on this side of your face if this side is not the part that's facing outside the car? By the way, the windows, I don't think on the other side was broken. It's a lot of shit, bro.
Yesterday that the medical examiner is going to testify that before the shots were...
Look, I just told you. Bro, like, I'm telling you, I could be a lawyer. Yo, spam lawyer act, bro. I promise you I never watch this. I promise you I never watch this. Nigga, didn't I just tell you the medical examiner? 2 seconds later, medical examiner. Promise y'all. Come on. The medical examiner, there's 2 star witnesses. I'm going to tell you this now. I promise you I haven't seen none of this shit. I didn't watch it live today. I'm watching with y'all. Medical examiner, and then the GPS person. I don't know if it's going to be a cell phone expert that's going to triangulate to say, hey, we got this search warrant from T-Mobile or Sprint, and we know how to track people based on cell phone evidence. Those are the 2 people. Medical examiner is going to tell you how he died, when he died, what was post-mortem. The second thing is going to be GPS. Who was there? I promise you that. Now, these are the 2 people that Melly's lawyers have to spin. If he spins both, he beats the case. I promise you. Beats the case. 100%. Okay?
Fired into the vehicle, that your son and Anthony, they were already dead.
Yes.
When those shots went into the vehicle, they had already been shot, and the fatal shots came from the back seat. That's the testimony that's expected.
Yes, ma'am. From my understanding, yes, the shot that Chris left cheek was the fatal shot that took him out. And then when he staged the drive-by, the shots from the back, they could tell by the way Chris' body was slumped over how, like, it was staged after the fact. Yeah, that's going to come out. I can't wait. That's going to be, like, breaking news. And with Chris wasn't killed in the drive-by. I know that for a fact.
One thing that Christine Bradley said yesterday was that in the days leading up to this, Melly was learning the oath of loyalty to the G-Shine blood set, to a gang. Did you know anything about that? Had your son ever discussed anything with you about this this gang that Melly was allegedly becoming a part of?
No, that was something he was doing in his private life on his own, separate from Kristen. And Christine or the lawyers was always saying that Chris lived in Miramar. Chris never lived down there. He lived in Gifford. He lived in Gifford, Florida. He might go down there for a day or two, but he always had the same address, same house, same everything, up until his time of passing.
Well, I wanted to play some clips from the trial so far. And Chris, I want to get your feelings on some of what was said in opening statements. This is Christine Bradley, the assistant state attorney, talking about what amounts to possibly a confession in this case.
So in summary, the last thing I want to tell you that the evidence will show is that in the Instagram, because the defendant had a moderate social media following at the time of these events, people are reaching out to him. Some fans, some friends, some associates. You'll see on October 26th, after about 8 a.m. in the morning, Eastern time, multiple messages are coming in. Messages are coming in from individuals checking to see if he's okay, if he's been injured in this drive-by. If it's true that Anthony Williams, who's also sometimes referred to as Sack, and Chris Thomas, who is referred to as Juvy, are really dead. One individual, and specifically, sends out, and I want to quote the message exactly that you will hear, and says, right after this, "Yo, homie, you good? Let me know something." And so, ladies and gentlemen, this is where context matters. What does that mean? If you work at Google and you say, "My whole floor is coding," that's a good thing. If you work at Broward General Hospital and you say, "My whole floor is coding," that is a bad thing. The context around the messages matters. So in the context of this message, this individual is reaching out, asking if Mr. Demmons is good, after he's been tagged in multiple social media posts about this drive-through, this shooting. And
Yo, she hungry. She keeps saying drive-through. Bitch is a drive-by.
Mr. Demmons responds very succinctly, "I did that." Shh.
Chris, when you heard that, what did you think?
Sound like a cryptic confession to me. Like she said, if you take everything into context, it sounded like he was speaking on the incident that happened, and he admitted to doing it and said, "Shh, don't say anything about it." That's how I took it.
It sounds like there's going to be some cell phone evidence presented in this case, some other things. Oh, anything you can share with us about that?
Cell phone evidence will show that Melly was in the back seat. Well, they got the surveillance camera of him getting in the back seat, and they also show with the phone. They show him going around the car twice, like shooting up the car or whatever. And then once he gets out the car, they have him getting out the car as well, and on the side of the road. Then
Wait, what? Now, what he just said, he said cell phone, I don't think footage, he says cell phone.
Was in the back seat. Well, they got the surveillance camera of him getting in the back seat.
Okay.
And they also show with the phone, they show him going around the car twice, like shooting up the car or whatever.
Okay. What that has to be is GPS triangulation. By the way, let's extrapolate beyond this Melly case. We're living in a scary world. If the police could triangulate your position, keep in mind, let's just say you're in the middle of nowhere. There's a car here. If you just having your phone on you, they could prove that you walked around the car. I usually think GPS, like for example, I lost a phone, I don't know, it was like 10 years back. I was back in college. Somebody stole my phone or some shit. And I remember using Find My iPhone, and it brought me to like an approximate area, but it was damn near almost an apartment complex. And it basically said your phone could be in any one of these. It's on this block though. And was I gonna go knock on everybody's door? No, I took the L. You don't know where it's at. There was nobody around at that time. It was mad late night. Looked like whoever who took it already parked and went into wherever they went. So back then, or maybe it was just Find My iPhone was an approximate area. Imagine knowing the cops could tell when you walk around. So you're telling me if I have my cell phone with me and I walk to that door, you see that door right there? If I walk to that door, you're telling me based on the data my cell phone is emitting, they could know, oh yeah, Ak was sitting here with the phone for 3 hours and then he gets up and he walks to that door and walks back. What? That's a fucking scary sight. That's a scary sight. Like, again, you go there. I don't want to give the layout of my house. So you're telling me, I have a bathroom like close by. You're telling me that if I go to the bathroom, even though usually like if you Find My iPhone, it'll be like, no, it's in the house. We're gonna tell you it's upstairs, or no, it's 50 feet there, like whatever. They look like they've gotten such precise shit that they know exactly. How do you know he's circling the car? Because that's what you're saying. You probably mapped it to the time and the position and say, oh, this is where they staged the shit, and this is when he was shooting up the car. Holy shit. All right. I'm going to go take a piss real quick, so I'm going to rewind about 50 seconds. I'm going to play this.
That is a bad thing.
I'm going to take a piss. I'll be right back.
The context around the messages matters. So in the context of this message, this individual is reaching out, asking if Mr. Demmons is good after he's been tagged in multiple social media posts about this drive-through, this shooting. And Mr. Demmons responds very succinctly, I did that. Shh.
Chris, when you heard that, what did you think?
Sound like a cryptic confession to me. Like she said, if you take everything into context, it sounded like he was speaking on the incident that happened, and he admitted to doing it and said, shh, don't say anything about it. That's how I took it.
It sounds like there's going to be some cell phone evidence presented in this case, some other things. Oh, anything you can share with us about that?
Cell phone evidence will show that Melly was in the back seat. Well, they got the surveillance camera of him getting in the back seat, and they also show with the phone. They show him going around the car twice, like shooting up the car or whatever. And then once he gets out the car, they have him getting out the car as well, and on the side of the road. Then he made the FaceTime phone call to Felicia Holmes, Mariah Hamilton's mom, and she's going to testify to that she saw him on the side of the road in the bushes talking about he think that Juvy and Sack was murdered or dead or whatever. And in my opinion, like at that time, like who told him that? So he had to have knowledge of something. So I just think, in my opinion, in my opinion, but me, it was an open and shut case. I think Melly is guilty as charged, and I wish that.
By the way, I see a couple of y'all saying that YNW Bortland was the stepbrother of Juvy. I'm getting information to say he wasn't, okay? I think I could kind of just say this directly. Bortland just basically said him and Juvy weren't stepbrothers, and people need to stop the narrative. He said he never met him till before all this happened. I don't know if I should be reading it. Okay. No, I'm not going to read that. He gave a reason why the funeral was missed. I'm not going to read that. But I did ask about the stepbrothers thing. He said, I never met his dad till right before. I don't know, but I see them saying it in the chat. And I know they think that because they think that, okay. Let me just, all right. Anyway, Let's get back to it.
Nothing but the death penalty for him.
Let's listen to Christine Bradley again talking about Instagram messages and this whole thing about.
I don't think they share sisters. Stop it. Like, y'all just be making anything up. Yo, let me tell you what's frustrating. And I don't know this as a fact, but I have to imagine Bortland and also Melly. I know y'all have this sinister thing in your mind that these guys are just fucking stone cold killers that to kill their friends. Regular people don't kill their friends. Okay? Now, I'm not speaking definitively that ain't happening. But what I'm trying to say is that we have to have a level of decorum when, like, y'all have certain questions that I know they would want to answer, right? Like, they want to, like, fucking just say, tell y'all, like, no, I love that nigga. Like, yo, shit, I would do anything for him. Like, shit, nigga, this is actually what went down. Nigga, I was trying to protect, whatever the case is. I was trying to, whatever. They can't say it right now. This is a trial. It's a trial. It's a fucking trial. All right.
The loyalty oath to the gang.
From the Instagram, from the private messages, was that Jamel Demons is a member of the G Shine Blood set. This is not a stage personality. This is not an actor that's playing a character.
Stop it. We all know Melly got split personalities.
This was his real life. Ladies and gentlemen, you will see that as soon as October 24th, 2 days before the homicide, Jamel Demons is learning the oath of loyalty to the G-Shine Blood set.
By the way, I'm gonna tell you why this prosecutor is bringing in the gang-related shit. Because the reason why Melly qualifies for the death penalty in this case is not only that the allegations are heinous, there's a death penalty election that says if you commit a heinous crime in furtherance or in relation to you being in a gang, you get to be put on death row. So the reason why she's bringing in again, we're talking in hypotheticals, but let's say he did do it. You think he killed his friends for the gang? That doesn't make sense. There's no gang in the world that says kill your friends and you're in, right? Or kill your friends and like you really like leveled up. That's not what it is. But she has to bring in the gang because she's looking for the death penalty. So she's basically saying while he did this murder, he was trying to get in a gang, and she's just trying to throw it in the water because not only does she want a conviction of him being guilty, she wants him to be put on death row. For him to be put on death row, as I said, not to be repeating myself, he needs to be a person who was in a street gang and may have committed this crime in furtherance or in relation to the gang. Okay?
You're going to see things in these messages that will be indicative of blood membership. For example, anytime a word would normally be spelled with a C, as in Charlie, they don't use that. They replace it with the letter B. So instead of saying,
by the way, hey, listen, I'm not blood. I'm not in no gang. But I ain't gonna lie. It was disappointing finding out that Bortland's name was Cortland. You know what I mean? Like, yo, Bortland just sounds dope. And by the way, when I mean it just sounds dope, it's not because of the letters. It's just like I've never met a nigga named Bortland. You know what I mean? When I found out his real name was Cortland, I'm like, oh, I know Matt Cortlands. You know what I mean? That's it. That's it.
at the crib, they say I'm at the brib. Why, ladies and gentlemen? Because C is associated with cribs. B is for bloods. So if you look through all the messages, you will notice time and time again, Jamel Demons is dropping C's and using B's. And you're going to see pictures, you're going to see videos of the defendant doing something called stacking. which is a way to show a gang affiliation and to broadcast it to the world. And this is not just in music videos. This is not just in lyrics, because we're not going to get into that. That's artistic expression. That's not why we are here today.
So, Chris, your thoughts on what Christine Bradley said there. Do you think that your son's death and Anthony's death was in any way related to any type of gang initiation process?
No.
From the text messages and from what I heard her tell me about the text messages, I think so.
So this would make sense, right? His whole information is based on the prosecutor's case. The prosecutor is trying to get Melly killed. Now, let's say I just believe Melly did it, right? I don't think Melly did this because of a gang. I think Melly did this because he probably had some issues with these guys. I don't know what these issues were. I would more believe the money thing. Maybe whatever, niggas was talking shit to him about the money, maybe like acting up over the money, threatening him over the whatever the case is, and he felt he had to do something. But that's not gang related. That's just like, yo, niggas want their bread and niggas acting up and niggas trying to press you for the bread and you feel like, yo, fuck it, man. Like, yo, fuck the bread, nigga. Like, y'all niggas not about whatever. However, when he says, based on what she told me, it tells me that the cops have fed him a story. And again, I don't want to say it's right or not right, but he's getting his full information from the police.
So, because it's other text messages, I don't want to divulge too much information that's going to come out that's going to support that theory.
Let's look at the defense now. Melly's defense attorney obviously saying he's innocent, that they can't prove this. So let's listen to David Howard.
That's the first indication that they're just guessing and don't know what they're talking. And that, ladies and gentlemen, by itself is reasonable doubt. Why he would commit such a heinous crime against his own two best friends for no reason. What happened here is that the lead detective, Detective Moretti, saw a video of Mr. Demons getting into a car 40 plus minutes before bodies were found in that car. And then he discovered that Mr. Demons was a rising star. And from that point on, he decided he's the only person that could have committed this crime.
Okay.
Because if you...
No, boy dropping bars, though. You know, they be trying to tell you don't get a black attorney, but I ain't gonna lie, my boy, he violated this one bum-ass nigga. Where is the bum-ass nigga? He violated him. Maybe my boy got some bars, though. Maybe he got some bars. I like this. I like it a lot.
You're involved in prosecuting a star, you become a star. This was his big break. And he had tunnel vision, and he zeroed in on this person, this young man, as the only possible perpetrator of that crime, to the exclusion of all other leads and evidence.
Chris, what did you think when David Howard said that?
It was all just something that made up. I don't believe nothing that he was just saying. Because, like, that's the same theory that his managers was pushing on us. Like, oh, it's not Melly. You know how the white man always trying to take the black man down and this, that, and another. He's just a successful black guy. I don't want to hear none of that. That's not true. If anything, why him? Why Melly? Why just put this on him? Why Melly? It don't make sense. They just throwing Hail Marys, like throwing stuff to the wall, hoping it stick.
David Howard also says that the police botched this investigation. Let's listen to him talk about that.
They don't follow leads. They have no motive. Investigation was botched. Investigation, as a matter of fact, is still going on as we speak, up to a couple months ago. Yet they're here telling you they have proof beyond reasonable doubt. And what you're still investigating. The job of the state is to prove it beyond and to the exclusion of every reasonable doubt. And if you're a reasonable person and you have doubt, that's reasonable doubt. There's a song called Things That Make You Go, If you say, that's reasonable doubt. You do not. Ms. Bradley is charming. She's good at her job in some respects. But this is not a popularity contest. We don't give, hey, good effort. We don't give participation awards. This man's life is hanging in the balance. And if there is a scintilla of reasonable doubt, you must have the courage to speak up and say so. You're not here to judge him. You're here to judge the sufficiency of their case. They have a big task in front of them. We should probably get to it.
Wow. So what were your thoughts? And do you believe that this investigation was botched?
Oh, man. I don't think it was botched. I think they did a great job and everything will come together in the end. And he's just trying to put a little thought in the jury's minds. Like, he wasn't even trying to tell them, like, he's innocent. He just, like, trying to, like, put a reasonable doubt. Not that he's innocent. He's not trying to prove his innocence. Like, it's like, to me, they know he did it. They're just trying to get, I don't know. They just know he did it. They're not trying to prove his innocence.
I feel like so often you get into the evidence and really the victims get lost in these trials. Just any final words about your son?
It's always forever long live Juvy. I miss him and love him to death. He got a lot of Melly fans that be spamming my inbox and all over. Even y'all guys chat talking about free Melly. But one of their loved ones was to get murdered. And imagine the whole world saying free the alleged killer of that guy. It just make you feel some type of way and just want to crash out yourself because, I don't know, first they trying to make it seem like Chris and Sack was extorting Melly, which is a false narrative that his camp painted. That was never true. And Chris never did nothing to nobody. They can't even say nothing he did to Melly. Nothing that they can't show anything that made him want to do anything to Chris. And that's what got me the way I'm feeling because Chris never did anything and he loved that dude. And that dude did that to him. I never accept that. And to everybody that's on his side is on the opposite side of me.
If he's convicted, would you like him to get the death penalty? Because he's the first person to go, have the death penalty as a potential punishment since the law change lowered the threshold for it.
Yes, I-49. Old Testament. I think he deserved it. Because they show no remorse. They still trying to badmouth these boys. And when it happened, Melly and Kristen had Instagram pages. He went on his page. They went on his page. Whoever took all.
Hey, I mean to cut this short. Like, we gonna get back to this. Hey, yo, real quick.